Good morning, YouTube. It's me again, the great and almighty Buzz, the Capitan de Ordnance and Trailer Park Ambassador to the world. How the hell you doing? So yeah, I know I've been beating the Connecticut shooting thing like a horse, turning it into glue. But some things I'm reading online that I think we need to talk about. I'm sure you all are well aware about the gun control. I mean, the president said that he wants to uh, push through gun control legislation. Fine, great, go for it. I mean, we had the Brady bill back in the day that banned assault rifles like uh, the AR-15s that have been used in three three shootings: Aurora, Colorado, Clackamas, Oregon, which is right down the road from me. It's literally I can be there in 45 minutes. And a Bushmaster, which is an AR-15 clone, was used by the jackass in Connecticut. I think banning assault rifles might be the way to go, but I'm not sure. But everyone calling for a ban on all weapons, you're loony. Won't happen, can't happen. Uh, you're going to put a lot of people in jail, a lot of innocent people in prison who are doing nothing more than owning a firearm. I don't think it's wrong to own a firearm, and I don't think people should be punished for it. And I want you to understand, I'm torn on this. I'm just as torn as the rest of you because I've got a little boy in school. I've got a little 10-year-old and a little 9-year-old, my son and my daughter. And like many of you, all I've been able to think since this happened is, what if my kids were there? What if it was my kids? I can't say I could have stopped it because the parents weren't there. I can't say locking the doors at the school is the answer because the doors were locked. The guy had to shoot the window out to get in. You're not going to ban guns. Just get over it. It's not going to fucking happen. There are too many people. I mean, even if you don't own a gun, you know someone who owns a gun. Like, you know someone who probably owns several guns. And they've probably got a gun safe and they're probably responsible about it. And even if they're not, what you going to do? The people saying, let's give guns to the teachers. Just fucking stop. That's not going to work. You can't just, here you go. Oh, hi, you're a teacher. Well, here's your diploma and here's your 9mm. Have at her. You got to have people trained. Now, possibly having a full-time police officer, armed, trained police officer on duty at every school. Yeah, I'm okay with that. It sucks. It's taking away the innocence of our children. But I'd rather them have a cop at school than be shot. Uh, I know when I was in high school, we had cops at the school. And even middle school, there was a cop that worked the school. He was at the school full time. But, yeah, I think that's the way to go. That or take the faculty out, and if you are going to arm the faculty, you've got to give them intense training. They've got to know how to shoot, when to shoot, what kind of weapon to carry. And you can't have them just carrying their personal weapons, because what about the guy who's going to carry in the 357, or some handgun that's too high powered and ends up shooting through a shooter and end up wounding a couple kids himself? I mean, a gun in untrained hands is just as dangerous as a gun in a killer's hands. If you're gonna arm them, train them, and you know what? That's gonna cost a lot of money. That's gonna cost a lot of tax dollars. And it's funny that the people who are saying, "Hey, arm the teachers," let's put more guns in the schools. They're the same people that are like, "But I don't want to pay for it." I'm kind of like, the fuck? You know, uh, and past just the security issues, I mean, you got to get more mental health in the schools. There must be mental health. I mean, and not just the schools. I mean, these guys were in the early 20s. They were all in the early 20s. Start putting out some money for some mental health. I have a son who has anger issues. That's why I personally don't own a firearm. but that's my decision. The government shouldn't make it for me. But they do need more mental health in schools. You start young and you just keep training them up. I'm rambling now and losing my train of thought. This is just fucked. It terrifies me to think that the only people with firearms in this country could one day be just the police and the military and the government. And that's a very American way of thinking. I mean, really, I've found that's just America that thinks that way. Because we had it drilled in our heads since we were kids, and the way this country was built and founded is that, it's like John Locke said, it's a people's right, nay, their very responsibility to rise up and overthrow an oppressive regime, and we want to be ready for it. And we've already had legislation out. There's legislation out there that keeps us from being ready for it. I mean, we can't ever match the government in firepower. I mean, what's a semi-automatic Bushmaster up against an M60? Not much. Train the teachers. Put the cops in the schools. Stop fighting legislation that gives people mental health care. We have a huge mental health problem in this country. There are millions of homeless men out there who are just flat fucking Looney Tunes and should be in some type of mental ward or mental home or something. You know what? Take my tax dollars and pay for that. Take your tax dollars and pay for that. Take everyone's tax dollars and let's start helping this country out. Don't bitch about the problem if you're not willing to pay for it. This has been the Great and Almighty Buzz. I hope you can make sense out of something of what I said. Have a good day.